The Analog Showcase makes a welcome return to the photography show. I'm delighted to be joined by Dave, who's got some Alfie cameras about him, including this one in his hand. Dave, first of all, what is an Alfie cam?
So Alfie cameras, we're trying to bring new film photography cameras to the market, and this is our first model, the Alfie Titch. So it's a half-frame film camera, and that means for every 35mm frame, you get 2 shots. So you get twice as many images out of your film, and it means you can do creative things like create diptychs, little stories out of your images. So depending on the lab that you get it developed at will be depending on whether they provide you with prints that are paired like that, or they sometimes process them and turn them into single images. So this is still from one of those half frames, but that's the sort of quality you get.
So on a 36 frame you get 72, which is at least?
I typically get 76.
Okay.
Because the camera's so small, you can use all the bits of film that the automatic cameras just throw away.
I mean, there's a great sustainability angle on this for sure. Is there any compromise there? Because, you know, obviously you're using half of a traditional cell, I guess. Are you losing any quality, really?
Well, I tend to take diptychs and stories, so the quality is the same. I've just got 2 images on my shot. You do lose, you lose in resolution from an analog perspective, but you gain in grain, so that analog look is kind of accentuated a little bit, which is kind of lovely. I really enjoy that myself.
And actually you mentioned it there from a kind of storytelling point of view. That's very much how creators think now. It's not just a single image, it's okay, well how can I use 2, 3 images to try and tell a story of this thing? Actually that there is a lovely creative opportunity that maybe we haven't had in the same way before. So I really like that. And that's coming out of this really dinky little camera here.
Yeah, so we've developed this automatic camera. So it's got a light meter in there. That you tell it which lens you've selected, so you've got multiple lenses to choose from, and that gives you even more creative opportunities.
Right, so let's have a chat through these 4 lenses here.
So this is the premium model that we're taking to market. We've got a f125 pinhole lens that lets you create really dreamy pinhole images. We've got a f8 meniscus lens, and we actually reclaim that. We quality control and check disposable cameras that have been thrown away, and we reclaim the lenses and clean them up and use them in the camera. Then on the premium version we have an f8 2-element glass lens that is being designed out in the US for us at the moment. And then the final choice is something called a zone sieve, and this is like a
zone sieve.
Zone sieve. So it's like a concentric rings of pinholes. Creates a kind of pinhole look, but with a different vibe to the image. Okay. So you've got all that creativity, and then you can do multiple exposures as well. So if you want to do fun things like I've got a fairground shot here. We've got 2 shots of the same fairground wheel over the top of each other, or there's all sorts of ways that you can creatively use that multiple exposure. I was trying to find, there's a really good example, but I can't find it now.
There always is, but you can never find it. This is like live demos, ladies and gentlemen, on the TV. Oh, there we go. I can see what you've done with a car tyre.
Overlaid the car tyres over the top, and that's just, you just take the picture twice, effectively, before you wind on. And if you want to get even more creative, you can do panoramas that are like window frame panoramas. So you take a picture, wind on, take a picture, and this is part of a 10-shot panorama. So that's just the first 2, but it goes all the way around. It's almost 360 panorama that I took.
That there is one of my favourites. I really, really like that idea. You've got a Titch and a Titch Plus, is that right?
That's right, yeah. So the Titch is going to be our basic model. That's to try and get the price point as low as possible. It lacks the premium glass optic lens, and it has a basic plastic viewfinder, again reclaimed from the disposable camera. The premium option has your super bright glass viewfinder and that premium lens.
So you've been talking about this, at least in part, in the future tense. So just talk to me about how this has come about, what your go-to-market is with this.
Yeah, so we've been developing it for the last year. We're at the point where we're beta testing, so we've got units out in the wild with testers who are helping us refine the firmware, get any minor fixes sorted so that we get things right in the camera. We're launched on Kickstarter this morning, and we've already got 20 backers so far, so we're 30% towards our backing. And once we're backed, we'll be able to commit to making our first batch of cameras. If we're really well backed, then we can drive down the cost of goods to help us support a wholesale approach to the market and bring out new cameras in the future.
So we've got a Kickstarter launch here of a very new, very exciting product as well. Dave, thank you so much for bringing this. What are you hoping to get from being here at the photography show? I mean, we've just spoken about launching a new product. That's kind of great exposure for you, I guess.
It's great exposure. It's a brilliant place to be, to just have all that enthusiasm around photography, to get feedback on the camera and to get the name out there. That's what the photography show does for us. And hopefully those people will take away a flyer, look at the Kickstarter and back us.
Dave, thank you very much indeed, and really all the very, very best with the Kickstarter campaign in the future for the Alfie Camera. Thank you.
Thank you.